Hi everyone, good evening and a very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. This is the video for 4th of July 2024. Now let's proceed and have a look at the pointers of discussion for the day. So first of all, in the editorial segment, we have an Indian Express article to discuss. Now the title of this article is New Sections in Criminal Laws. Cheating is not Section 420, but now it's Section 318. Punishment for murder, it is 103. See, essentially here we'll talk about the important offenses under the IPC, which are, known generally to the public as well. So we'll understand offenses like murder, rape, and others, and do a comparison of section numbers in the IPC and the BNS. This should help you for the purpose of retention of the index. Secondly, we talk about the news updates for the day, and this is going to be followed by the last segment of legal news. So with that in mind, let's proceed and quickly have a look at the title of it. New sections in criminal laws. Cheating is not section 420, but it's 318. Punishment for murder is section 103. Let's have a look at the context of this article first of all. See, 3 criminal laws, the new ones, they've come into force from 1st of July that we all know. So the BNSS, which is the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, is replacing the CRPC. Then we have Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which is replacing the IPC, and the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, it is replacing the Indian Evidence Act. See, passed in Parliament last year, the government billed it as an effort to remove colonial influence on India's legal system. Home Minister Amit Shah, last year he said that the purpose of the older laws, since those were mostly made during the time of the Britishers, so it was to strengthen the British rule. Its purpose was to punish and not to dispense justice. This is what he said. He further, highlighting the objects of the current laws, said that after nearly 150 years, the new criminal laws, they're being brought with entirely new perspectives and provisions with the purpose to eliminate the delays in criminal justice system. We will not see any colonial influence, and they will resonate with the essence of Indian soil. At the core of these bills is the protection of the constitutional rights of human rights and the self-defense of Indian citizens. This is what he said. Now, this is, sort of a relief for students now that we have to remember and cover the IPC and also the new laws for the upcoming exams. So, the BNS, it is having 358 sections as against 511 sections in the IPC. So now let's quickly have a comparison of important offenses. So first of all, let's start with the offense of murder and the punishment of murder. So we all know that generally public also, those who do not have any connection with the domain of law, they also know that section 302 provided for the punishment of murder in the IPC. But now the current section in the BNS corresponding to this is section 103. So please understand section 302. Now the current section is 103. Then attempt to murder, initially, earlier it was 307, but now it is 109. So 307 has become what? It is 109. Now, from this, what we can understand that the offense of murder, where is it covered? In the initial of hundreds. So 103, we have the punishment for murder, then attempt to murder is 109. Let's talk about sexual offenses now. So first of all, let's talk about rape. In the IPC, the concerned section was 375, but now the current section is 63. So when it comes to sexual offenses, we've come to the line of 60s. So 63 is for what? It is corresponding to 375 in the IPC. Then let's talk about gang rape. So the concerned section in IPC was 376D, which was added by an amendment. But in the BNS, it is 70, section 70, subsection 1. So rape was 63 and then 70. Section 70 is gang rape. Next is cruelty against a married woman. So this is an offense against marriage, correct? So initially in the IPC, this was again added by an amendment and it was section 498A, which was popularly called for cruelty of against a woman by the husband or the relative of the husband, correct? So now the offense concerned is section 85 of the BNS. Then we have dowry death. So previously section 304 in the IPC covered dowry death, but now it is section 80. So what we can see here is that offenses related to marriage, like dowry death or cruelty to a married woman, they are in the range of 80s, correct? So dowry death is 80, then 85 would be your cruelty. Dowry death is 80, then 85 is cruelty. Then let's talk about other sexual offenses like outraging the modesty of the woman or sexual harassment. So sexual offenses, we saw one was 63, then we saw 70, which was gang rape. Another is outraging the modesty of the woman. So this is 74. So 70 was gang rape, correct? Then we have a couple of more sections in 74. 74 is outraging the modesty of the woman. In the IPC, it was 354 and 354A, which was added by an amendment. It provided for sexual harassment. And now this current BNS has section 75 for sexual harassment. So 74 is outraging the modesty of the woman. Then a similar type of offense is sexual harassment, where it is 75. Then criminal intimidation in the IPC, it was in the latter sections. So we had all of those sections, 503, then criminal intimidation. For that, we had series of sections. So similarly, in the BNS as well, at the ending of it almost, section 551. There are total how many? 558, correct? So 551 is your criminal intimidation. Then defamation, just like in IPC, which was on the verge of ending of the IPC, section 499 and 500. Here we have section 356, which is just as the verge of the end of BNS. So defamation is 556 and criminal intimidation is 551. Then cheating, previously the concerned section in IPC was 420, but when it comes to BNS, it is 380. Then criminal conspiracy, it was 120A, but in BNS, it is 61. So the latest section in the BNS so far that we spotted was 63, the earliest, correct? But now the earliest is 61, which means just like in IPC, we had the chapters related to abetment, conspiracy in the beginning itself. So in the BNS also, conspiracy is in the beginning itself. So 61 is criminal conspiracy, then 63 it's rape, and then followed by 70, which is gang rape. Then 75 is your outraging modesty, sexual harassment is, 74 and 75. And then comes the offenses related to marriage, and then comes to the offenses of murder. So far, this is what we've seen, correct? Then let's talk about offenses against state, which is sedition. So in the IPC, it was section 124A, but in the BNS, it is 152. So what we need to realize here is, unlike in the IPC, where offenses against body, marriage, sexual offenses, they were contained in the latter half of the IPC, and the offenses against state, they were contained in the first half of it. But in the BNS, the picture is opposite. All the important offenses, let's say against body, marriage, sexual offenses, all of these are contained in the beginning, and offenses against the state, they are in the second half. Next is promoting enmity between different groups. So previously we had section 153A in the IPC, but now it is under section 196. Similarly, imputations, assertions prejudicial to national integration, which was 153B in the IPC, now it is 197. So offenses like promoting enmity and there's, harm to the national integration, this is in the line of 196, 197. So nearly 200. Now, statements conducing to public mischief, that was in 505 IPC, which is again at the end portion of it. Similarly, in the BNS as well, it is in the end portion, 353. Then we have public nuisance, which was 268. Now, there is not a lot of difference in the BNS. It is just two sections. So public nuisance, it is just you add two sections to 268 and you get 270, which is the section in BNS. So I hope this comparison will help you in retaining or making a broad mental map of spotting the provisions of the BNS. Now let's proceed to the national news category. So first of all, we have this update. Indian Army contingent participates in India-Thailand joint military exercise, which is called Maitree. So for exam purposes, what we need to remember, the countries involved, which is what? India and Thailand. The exercise name, it is exercise Maitree. So the Indian Army, and again, this is by which force? This is the Indian Army. The Indian Army contingent departed for the 13th edition of the India-Thailand joint military exercise called Maitree. The aim of this exercise is to foster military cooperation between India and Thailand. This exercise will enable the two countries or the two sides to share their best practices in tactics or techniques and procedures to conduct joint operations. Next up is an update in sports category. So India's Jyothi Yarraji, she won gold in the women's 100-meter hurdles at the National Interstate Senior Athletics Championship. So let's have a look at the name of the sports person again in the women and the men category. So for the women category, India's Jyothi Yarraji, she won gold medal in what tournament? This was in women's 100-meter hurdles at the National Interstate Senior Athletics Championships, and this was held in Panchkula. Then, as far as her time is concerned, she finished the race at the first spot with a time of 13.06 seconds. Let's talk about the men's category. So the event is men's 110-meter hurdles. The name concerned here is Tejas Sirsi. Sese. He won the gold medal, and the time that he clocked was 13.45 seconds. Viswanathan Anand, he won his 10th title in the Lyon Masters Chess Championship. Viswanathan Anand, he won his Lyon Masters Chess Tournament in Spain. This is his 10th title win in the event. The first title that he won was in 1996 and the last came in 2006. SBI launches MSME Sahaj 15-minute online loan solution. So the State Bank of India launched MSME Sahaj. This is an online loan service which allows the MSMEs to borrow up to rupees 1 lakh against their GST registered sales invoices. The bank stated that this loan closure, it will be automated on the due date. Ashwini Vaishnaw was the Union Minister. He inaugurates Global AI Summit 2024. So for exam purposes, remember the name of the minister, Ashwini Vaishnaw. He inaugurates the Global AI Summit. This was held in New Delhi. This inauguration took place in New Delhi. Now, what is the aim of this? This is to host gathering of international delegates, AI experts, and policymakers at the summit. The session, it aims to enhance AI education and skills, thereby bridging gaps and highlighting career paths. Additionally, discussions will focus on inclusive AI development, aligning with India's push for global AI accessibility. Next up is an update with respect to two important appointments. Please note that there is some typing error in the heading, but we'll have a look at the body of this news. So Akhilesh Pathak, he has assumed office as the new Chief General Manager of the Southern Region Transmission System 1 of the Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. So Akhilesh Pathak is the person concerned. What is the position that he has assumed? He has assumed office as the new Chief General Manager. This is of the Southern Region Transmission System for Power Grid Corporation of India. Second person was being appointed at a certain position is Ravindra Kumar Tyagi. He is the CMD. CMD is the Chairman and Managing Director of Power Grid. He has been entrusted with an additional charge, and that is of the post of Director Projects of Power Grid. Now with this, we come to the international segment, and this is the first update here. First ever India-Belarus Consular Dialogue held in Minsk, which is the capital city for Belarus. So the first ever India-Belarus Consular Dialogue, it was held in Minsk. Discussions covered consular issues, including Indian student welfare in Belarus and boosting tourism. Dr. Aman Puri, he led the Indian delegation, while Mr. Andriy Kozin, he led the Belarusian delegation. Officials from India and Belarus, they agreed to continue discussions from the dialogue and will review progress at the next consular dialogue in New Delhi. United Nations Conference on Afghanistan, this is the next update. So the third UN Conference on Afghanistan, this occurred in Doha in Qatar, with the Taliban participating for the very first time since it took control of Afghanistan. Now, we all know that since 2021, the Taliban has imposed strict rules on women, closing schools, banning higher education and most jobs, enforcing dress codes and limiting their movement. So a lot has happened in Afghanistan since the control is taken over by Taliban. The UN conference, it aimed to promote peace, discuss women's rights, then address girls' education and tackle human rights issues in Afghanistan, which is severely been affected ever since the change of the regime has taken place. Nepal government is in crisis yet again. Two parties strike deal to oust the current PM. So Nepal's two largest parties, they struck a late night power sharing deal to form a new government. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand, he declined to resign and chose to seek a confidence vote instead. The agreement between the Nepali Congress and the CPN-UML outlines ministerial roles, provincial leadership, and a rotational prime ministerial position. Nepali Congress, which is the largest party in the 275-member House of the Representatives, it has nearly 89 seats at the present, while the CPN, it has 78 seats. The two leaders tentatively agreed to form a new government, amend the constitution, and devise a power-sharing formula. This was reported by the multiple senior leaders from both parties. Now, this has brought us to the legal update segment, where we just have this update to cover, which is coming from the Kerala High Court. Abandonment of senior citizen must be total and complete without any arrangement of care to constitute an offense. This is with respect to a matter, the facts of which I'll just discuss with you, where there were allegations by a woman that that her father was abandoned by her brother. So with respect to that, the Kerala High Court has said something. Let's talk about the factual aspects of this case first. So the petitioner, the petitioner sent his father to his sister's house. So what has happened? There is a brother and a sister and a father. So the father was sent by the brother, the male, the boy, to his sister's house. And 3 months later, the sister, she filed a complaint with the accusation that her brother, the petitioner, he abandoned their father in a taxi. The petitioner seeks the boy. He seeks to quash the proceedings, claiming that the sister acted with malicious intent. The court noted that parents can travel between their children's homes for various reasons, possibly based on agreements between family members. And the arrangements of taxi, it indicated no abandonment according to the court. So in light of this, let's understand what the High Court has said. The High Court observed that in order to constitute an offense of abandonment of senior citizen, there should be total and complete abandonment without any arrangement of taking care of the person concerned. The court further observed that the complaint was filed by the senior citizen's daughter, the sister, not by the senior citizens themselves, and only after a delay of 3 months. So therefore, the court deemed further prosecution as an abuse of court process and quashed the proceedings concerned. The name of this particular case is Dr. Pramod John versus the state of Kerala. This has brought us to an end of our TNA. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day ahead.